Hello everyone, I'm Ken Philibom here at the Stellar's Collectibles shop in the Uniontown Mall. I'm here alongside our sidekick here, Duke. He's going to help us throughout the show. This is the debut episode of the Stellar Show with store owner and co-host Victor Malik here. Victor's going to touch base on what's going on here in the shop and also what's going on with the show.
Hi, thank you. My name's Victor, as Ken mentioned, and the first thing I would like to do is thank Fayette TV for the opportunity to give us a platform to not only talk about local sports, national sports, as well as to give you guys some information on how to collect cards, how to make money in this industry, and how to not get screwed. So what happened? I just became you. Keep running.
Just not as good looking.
What we're going to do in the future, we're going to have shows where we're going to teach you how to grade a card. We're going to teach you how to appraise a card. We're going to teach you all the fine-tuned aspects of what card collecting and how to make money in this industry are. The last thing I want to do is ever have a kid get screwed over in this world. This store is basically a launching point for a young collector. You don't have to be a kid. You can be someone middle-aged. I get a lot of people who come in who, for the first time, find a bunch of cards in their attic. And when they find these cards in the attic, they want to know what they're worth and what the expectations are for those cards.
And that's where we want to start this off with, the expectations of buying and selling. Realistic expectations of buying and selling, that is.
Realistic expectations.
Thank you. Because unfortunately, there's a lot of people, I saw on the internet that someone got $1 million for this baseball card. And that may be true, but there's probably a reason behind it. You know, they had the 1952 Topps Mantle graded at a 5. You do not have that in your basement or garage. Good luck if you do, and that's great for you. But the thing is, unfortunately, I come up here a good bit. This is kind of my get away from, without getting away too far away from the area. This is part of my release. And when I'm down here, I see a lot of this. And just one example that just stands out. I was here one time and I'm watching this guy. He comes in, he's got a Ben Roethlisberger autographed jersey. He goes, "Hey, I got this jersey. I want $1,000 for it." And just like, look, you're not going to get $1,000 for that. It's on eBay for that. It's like, well, it's on eBay because it's not selling. If it was sold, then it's not on there. So, and to use Ben as a good example, and Ben charges $300 to $350 per signature. This particular jersey that this gentleman brought in was only about a $100 jersey. So why would I give you $1,000 for something I can go get for $450 on my own if I want it? So the problem there is, this person, well, he's stuck with, I saw it's $1,000. It's not $1,000. If it'd be sold if it was $1,000. So what happens is these people, I'll see these guys, they come in and they get frustrated. They think that Victor's trying to pull one over on them, or whoever at these other shops, not just Victor. And that's just not the case. That's why I say you got to have realistic expectations. And so like this jersey, for example, like $200 would have been a fair number for someone like Victor, $150 to $200, because at the end of the day, Victor's paying for all these lights to come on. He's got his own utilities plus the utilities of the shop, plus he's got to give some money to Uncle Sam here and there, so that so he can keep the shop going. And he can't do that if he's buying something for $1,000 that's going to sell for $1,000. So that being said, that particular situation, the person should have got $150 to $200, and Victor could have sold it for $300 to $400 to where everybody walked away with something. Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Well, that's part of the issue. Is you have to realize that you found it. Or if you bought it for too much, it's not someone else's duty to bail you out of the situation. So when you're going to sell something, you have to realize what you have invested in it. And if it's for free, try to make your profit as much as you possibly can. But when it's not Ben Roethlisberger, let's say it's Lamar Woodley.
Could be anybody, yeah.
If it's a Lamar Woodley shirt, just because someone listed a Lamar Woodley shirt, nothing against Lamar Woodley. He was great with the Steelers for a period of time.
Not with the Raiders, though.
But the collectability of Lamar Woodley today is very low. I'm probably going to get Lamar Woodley to come here and beat me up for what I just said.
That was him that spoke. Yeah. I have nothing but respect for Lamar.
Eli Rogers, same thing. Now I got two guys after me. But what you have to realize is players get hot and players get cold.
Make sure you plug that where you're going if you do come here.
But what I'm trying to say is the way this works nowadays is it's basically each player is a commodity and a stock. And when they win, stuff goes up. When they lose, it goes down. People don't like to hear that stuff goes down. What my advice for this part is only invest in Hall of Famers. Stay with the big shots.
Absolutely.
If you're buying something, make sure if you have the money, buy Michael Jordan, buy Tom Brady, buy Derek Jeter. Those are your safe Microsoft type stock investments. The rest of them, you're playing around with junk stocks that could go up, or they could just stay at garbage, and then you're stuck with something. A lot of the jerseys we're talking about, they're better to cut your grass in than they are to try to sell them.
Absolutely, which is what I do with some of them.
Yeah, cut your grass in, and that's what I tell people a lot. Just cut your grass in. It's a good shirt to cut your grass in.
So another good example, and for the record, I love the guy, Duck Hodges. There was a lot of kids that woke up disappointed when they wanted Duck Hodges' jersey for Christmas, and then by the time Christmas happened, they did not want that jersey. It happens that quick.
Duck Hodges,
Love him. He's got a podcast on.
absolutely made
Duck
my
calling.
second Christmas at this store horrible, because you had this enormous duck down in Allegheny County at the Point that everybody was in love with, but there was nothing Duck Hodges to sell for that Christmas. So Grandma came in the year before, and this is another thing with the expectations, is Juju and James Conner sold like crazy my first year here. Second year, they didn't have the seasons they had the year before, so people came in looking for Duck Hodges stuff, and there was nothing to be found.
Yeah.
All you could do is buy a plastic rubber duck or one of those south side of Pittsburgh things. So it wasn't a good year, so you can say anything you want about Duck Hodges.
Well, I'll top you on that. You're talking to a guy that ate a lot of money on Chase Claypool, so. Yeah, I took a beating on him.
The visor's still in the case.
I'm sure it'll be there for a while.
Unless he scores this weekend.
Well, I don't think people around here are
Is
going to
Waddle
care.
playing this weekend?
No clue. I know it's supposed to be cold, which is going to contribute to being on Peacock. So that might be a disaster all around, but good for them.
But yeah, let's get back to the expectations of cards. There is a concept in card collecting that is important for the first time or the person who finds cards in their attic. Please understand that there is a segment of cards called junk wax. This pretty much can be described by 1979 baseball all the way to pretty much 2000. They consider this junk because it was massively overprinted. A friend of mine told me that he got word through the grapevine that there were 17 million of each individual 87 Topps cards made. So the fact that there's that many, we can't burn them to make them worth any money.
Yeah, they're not even worth
Yeah,
using
so
them for
when
that.
you find 80s and 90s, especially baseball, there's very slim pickings, and that's where the philosophy I mentioned earlier with Derek Jeter becomes really important. Jeter is the only one that really sells from that era
Griffey.
in baseball. Griffey too. Yeah, good call
Yeah,
on that
Griffey
one.
and yeah.
So when you see those cards in bulk, pull out the Hall of Famers and go with that, unless you're chasing the 10s, which is a show we're going to get into, is to try to show you exactly how to look at a card before you send it to PSA or Beckett or SCG or CSG or any of the alphabet companies. Because there's things in there that a professional grader will look for that you can't see unless you have high-end magnifying glasses, lights, etc. So that's why I beg you guys to understand what I'm saying. There is just not a lot of money in that mass-produced 80s to 90s baseball, unless you get the 10. And that's where you see people overprice the 10s
absolutely.
on eBay. And we can get into eBay
and
and the pricing on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say we could say that one. That could be a whole show by itself.
Yeah.
But something we could touch on that ties into what you're talking about, but also eBay. One way to get rid of when you come across 25,000 count boxes of junk wax. So we live here in southwestern Pennsylvania. If I pull out 400 Robin Yount cards, no one in southwestern Pennsylvania wants that. But you throw it on eBay for 20 or 30 bucks, I guarantee you someone in the Milwaukee area is going to buy that. So that's where, just because, that's why I say realistic expectations, because unfortunately, like I said, I saw I read an article where this person got $600,000 for these cards that they found. Your odds are just as good on the Powerball or Mega Millions. So that being said, but that doesn't mean there's not money to be made. That doesn't mean there's not money to be made, but just it's got to be, you have to have realistic expectations.
With cards like that, you can buy dinner with those kind of cards. You're not buying a house.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that they're going to get a house out of them. I have a bin that we can show later in the show or another day where what we do is we donate those cards and kids come in and take bags of it away. Let them, that's the perfect entry point for cards, is to let them play with them. When I was a kid, we used to build little houses out of them. Maybe I'll show you how to do that someday, where it's like a domino effect and they all fall. So that's what you do with that. They learn how, if you take, say you ran into a high-end Tom Brady card, if you don't have it in a plastic holder and you ding a corner, you could lose thousands of dollars.
Easily.
So that's not the kind of card that you want to give a kid right away. You want them to play with the 5-cent cards until they're ready to handle things like that. This is part of what I tell the people in the store all the time. Let the kids play with the cards in the beginning, because I can't tell you how many times I hear the story that if I had all the Manels and the Clementes and the Willie Mays I had as a kid, well, they used to throw them against the wall, and whichever card was the closest to the wall, they got to keep it. This is why the older vintage cards are so valuable, is so few of them weren't thrown against the wall, or as you said, put into the bicycle spokes, which made a sound. That's part of the reason, another reason why the expectations are. When a card has a pinhole in it, has writing on it, you're looking at 10% of what some maniac has just put it on eBay.
But let's dissect that a little further. That's why that vintage stuff has the value. It wasn't mass produced like it was in the 80s and 90s, and 90% of that stuff got abused. Well, as opposed to protected.
To jump in for a second, what I've recently read was the Mickey Mantle Topps rookie was such an ugly set that the owners at Topps actually put them on a barge and sunk them in the Hudson. Was it the Hudson?
It's the Hudson.
The Hudson River. So when people tell me they have 10 Mickey Mantle rookie cards, you kind of have to just walk away from the conversation, because the person, there's just not that many in existence that someone here in Fayette County. Now, if you're in New York City or somewhere like that.
And you invested in some scuba equipment and went for a swim, maybe you do.
Possibly. But that's why that card is so valuable, is they were sunk. The Honus Wagner card was in tobacco, and when I was a kid, there were 13 in existence. I believe now the count is up to somewhere around 186.
But some of those 13, though, have been exposed as counterfeits also.
That's another part of this that we will get into, is how to tell a fake card, how to tell a card that's been cut, altered, all of that. I want to give you guys all the information I possibly can, because when you come into the store, I don't want to explain this to you like this. So I want you to watch this, become educated, and don't just trust me. Do your own research on this.
It's there.
It's all there to be found.
Are you a member of the In-Group? The Fayette Chamber of Commerce is working hand in hand with the business community, local organizations, and county government to build a strong and vibrant county. Discover Fayette County. Join the In-Group today.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh Stellar Collectibles at the Uniontown Mall for the last segment in the Stellar Show. I'm your host, Victor, again, and I want to discuss with you right now a wonderful event that's going to happen at the Uniontown Mall on the day before the Super Bowl. That's Saturday, February 10th. Doors open at 10 o'clock in the morning. We'll probably have somewhere around 60 to 70 different tables full of sports collectibles, memorabilia, and especially stuff that people want the day before the Super Bowl. Tables are available at this time, but they're selling out fast. So if you need to, get a hold of me at 724-550-4177. Again, that's 724-550-4177.
You sure?
Not really, but I think that's the number to the store. I tend to not answer the phone anyway, so you could get a hold of my good friend Bryce, who was on the bottom of the flyer. If you can read the flyer, Bryce Bergen is my co-host for the card shows, and he will help you with the tables. Bryce's phone number is 724-557-4635. 4635 on that. The big event at the card show, as always, the Pack Attack is back for kids. You have to be under the age of 16, and what you have to do is come up here and get a Pack Attack ticket, have it filled out. They are now unfortunately $65 as the pre-sale ended last on January the 6th. We've already sold 35 tickets for this, so this should be an enormous Pack Attack for kids. Now, what a Pack Attack is for kids is what we do. If you can follow me over here for a second. What ends up happening with the Pack Attack is I grab some cards out of here. There are 6 rounds of opening packs. So for what you get here, one of the blaster box, 2 of the blaster boxes that you would get at Walmart are the equivalent of what you're gonna pretty much get in the 6 rounds. So what happens is Bryce Burgeon, the notorious Bryce, who owned a shop here a long time ago, it comes back for the Pack Attack, and he has the kids all get into a room that I keep pointing to over here. I explain this a lot in the store, so I'm used to doing this. Each kid will get a stack of packs and they will open them up. During this period, Bryce will say, who got a Steeler? Who got this, who got that, and he will throw whoever did get more packs. So the kids end up opening packs for over an hour. What we try to do as well is we have door prizes. We try to make it where each kid gets a door prize as well. This can be hobby boxes, extra packs, autographed jerseys, autographed helmets. This is an absolute blast for kids. It's like watching them on Christmas morning times 50. So that's the Pack Attack. That's this. Tickets are going to be available up until the week before, so Bryce needs to know how many packs to make so that everybody gets the card. It's very difficult to have people buy at the last minute because we have to buy this ahead of time to make it worth your while. Sorry, Ken.
You're good.
That is the Pack Attack, and that's the card show. Real quick, I want to give a quick shout out to Dan Kupitz and Coops Hoops. This is a tabletop board game that there is a website. It's called coopitstown.com, and I have in my possession, believe it or not, 2 autographed Coops cards. If you're the first 2 kids that come up, you get the autographed Coops cards. Ken, back to you.
Well, here we go. I'm going to open up some mail.
Here, give me Duke.
You get the Duke. You good, bud? All right. So here's what's going on here. I'm going to
Sure, I'll get this out of your way, buddy.
Oh, you're good, you're good. So we're gonna open up some mail I got today. This is a purchase from eBay from a seller. Hopefully what's in here is what's supposed to be in here.
Usually gets dog food, don't you?
Or we might be making a trip to, what is this, Virginia tonight, Roanoke. And I don't know, maybe swing by the house and grab some power tools first. Yeah, let's see. All righty. Oh, perfect. All right, so it is what I paid for. So what we have here is Greg Lloyd's rookie autographed, authenticated by PSA. So Greg Lloyd was one of my favorite players growing up. It should have been, if you were a Steeler fan at the time, he should have been one of your favorite Steelers.
No doubt.
Just that is Steeler football. That is Steeler football at its finest right there in that man. He should be in every Steelers Hall of Fame. In my opinion, I would even argue NFL Hall of Fame. Yeah, the numbers might not be there, but the presence was. So, but speaking of Greg Lloyd, it brings me back to one of my favorite. I remember right before Super Bowl 30, the Steelers were getting preparing for Dallas, and Jim Kelly was interviewed. What do the Steelers need to do to? What does Dallas need to do to beat Pittsburgh? Stop Greg Lloyd. He's like, what else? Stop Greg Lloyd. That was all Jim Kelly said. So that's an endorsement right there on why Greg Lloyd is the great that I lay out that he is. But speaking of the Steelers and Buffalo, that is the playoff matchup this weekend. So a little bit of controversy: Mason Rudolph or Kenny Pickett. I don't know how you stray away from Mason Rudolph right now, because look, he's playing. Well, I don't know where this guy came from. This is not the same guy that. Well, what was it, 2021? The Steelers in Detroit. I'm sitting in the stands. I think I paid $140 for my ticket. I got rained on for about 4 to 5 hours. And Mason Rudolph led the charge to a tie against Detroit. And that was a bad Detroit team. So I don't know if this – and then plus, let's be honest, we mentioned Duck Hodges earlier. Mason Rudolph was outplayed by Duck Hodges back in 2019. So that being said, I don't know if this guy got abducted by aliens or what happened, but this is a whole different quarterback. And good for him because he's hopefully for his sake he stays healthy throughout the postseason, gets the Steelers to the Super Bowl, and gets a big payday after that. So, what's your
There
thoughts
is
on that?
only one thing that Steeler fans care about historically, and that is a good old-fashioned quarterback controversy. The young kids today, you are going to have Mason Rudolph against Kenny Pickett. My generation, kind of our generation, who was better, Bubby or Neil O'Donnell? Young kids asked your grandparents about it. Was it Joe Gilliam, Terry Bradshaw, or Terry Hanratty? Steeler fans absolutely love a good quarterback controversy. I'm with you on Mason Rudolph. I've never seen him play better than this. I think with the weather up in Buffalo right now, the way they're running the football, they've got a puncher's chance.
Well, I think they got better than that. I mean, honestly, like, look, Rudolph, 90% completion percentage against the Ravens in the rain. Now, granted, there was some starters that was sat, but still, 90% completion percentage in the rain. So weather's not a factor.
In 1986, there was a guy who wore number 21 for Laurel Highlands, and all he loved to do was run the football up the middle. I don't really care about the throwing game. I want to see Najee Harris and Jalen Warren get about a Franco Harrison, Rocky Bleier style attack with 35 carries in the bad weather and a Steeler victory
right
on
there,
the ground.
I got him.
Yeah, he's just fidgeting.
That's what he does. No, I mean, you know what? More to Buffalo.
Where'd you get him?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. So this little fella here, the Duke, as he's known, was adopted just down the road, Fayette Animal and Friends. So if you're looking for a dog, go check them out because this guy was found stranded. He only weighed about 10 pounds when they found him. But, I mean, between both of us needed to cut back on the chicken McNuggets at one point. So, we got that down a little bit. But, no, you know what? They do a great job over there, and they're wonderful with animals. So if you're looking for a dog, a cat, go check them out. Help a stray out before, that's just my advice. Like I said, this is one of the best things I ever did was getting this guy.
Look at that.
So
that's happiness right there.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can do that by adopting a pet. Big fans of adopting
Absolutely.
pets.
Thanks for bringing that up because, like I said, yeah, they deserve all the recognition they get. It's well earned. But back to Buffalo. I think that what's overlooked, though, too, that both of us missed is Buffalo themselves. What Buffalo team are we going to get? Are we going to get the Josh Allen that looks like Jim Kelly, or are we going to get the Josh Allen that looks like Rob Johnson?
Are we going to get a Nate Herbig who might be the next Greg Lloyd?
That'd be great if he is.
He looks like a player to me. So that's one of the things I'm looking forward to seeing is how Pittsburgh's defense reacts. And if Minka can play, I think they've got a really good chance.
Yeah, missing Watt's going to hurt, but
Buffalo's run defense is 26th or 27th.
Well, and I agree with that. I think
back to the running game.
I think this. I'm not going to say put the house on the Steelers to go to the Super Bowl, but I think it's a 50-50 shot this weekend with Buffalo. I really do.
The line's 10. That's easy money. That's easy money. Take the 10. That's my opinion on it. Not that I endorse gambling or ever would gamble.
Was there some sort of deal in the side cut?
I'm looking for anybody who'll help me with Lamar Woodley right now.
Well, that's a good point. So you need that spare room in my basement for a few weeks.
It could end up being. But yeah,
you want a roommate?
If the Steelers do win against Buffalo, what are their chances against Baltimore?
Yeah, that's true. They would go to Baltimore. Well, that's a fully. You know what? I was at that Baltimore-Pittsburgh game early in the season where, if you watch that game and don't look at the score, you think the Ravens won that game 42-10, but somehow the Steelers pulled it out. I don't know if that was Tomlin's doing or Pickett's doing or whoever, but look, they found a way to win, and that's the only stat in football that matters is the W. So that being said, that could go either way, but it's got to look. You can't look past that. You got to look at Buffalo first.
Are you a member of the in-group? The Fayette Chamber of Commerce is working hand in hand with the business community, local organizations, and county government to build a strong and vibrant county. Discover Fayette County. Join the in-group today.
Hey, stupid. You forgot that.
Oh, hey, thanks for reminding me.
You're welcome.
What this is Devin Bush's game-used helmet from 2 years ago.
That was rookie year.
Thanks. From his rookie year, sorry. And what we get...
Joe Green winner. No,
Today.
you're good.
Okay, so what you kids get to do is come up here and you can actually try on this helmet, or where'd those gloves go?
Right here. Relax. You got them.
You can also try on Steelers authentic and authenticated game gloves. as well. What's really cool about this is getting a chance to see. This is the microphone for the defensive captain on that, and how they have the concussion pads built into the helmet. These aren't your high school helmets, and it's rare to get to see one of these. We'd like to thank Ken for lending this to the store. A lot of kids have enjoyed this throughout the Christmas season, and hopefully we can continue to bring you things like this and this as well. And a story for another day. This is the football that Troy Polamalu intercepted against Baltimore in 2008.
2008, the year they won Super Bowl 43.
This is the one he returned from Flacco for the touchdown, which sealed the game and sent the Steelers into the Super Bowl. We have the actual game ball here, which I can explain all the markings to you that verify, and you can actually photo match it. My good friend Zoe Johnson, I miss you a whole bunch. Can't wait to see you again. That family has been kind enough to lend that football here, and the story that goes with it, when you hear it, it will change the way you look at a lot of things. Especially, you'll love Troy Polamalu 10 times more than you do already.
Well, while we're on the topic of Steelers, and just if you're in the area, kids, come up. Mason Rudolph's the hot hand right now. I brought up the next 25 kids that come in that either do the icky shuffle or bring in a snowball and hit Victor with it. You will get a Mason Rudolph rookie card. Bonus points if I got video documentation of that. So but before we wrap this up, I don't know, what do you think of Nick Saban retiring yesterday?
There is a whole slew of younger kids that are going to take over. The older guard is leaving football. You had Saban go. Belichick is now gone. There were two more that left. Who were the other two coaches that got? Ron Rivera's gone. Pete Carroll's gone.
But
football's turning into a 7-on-7 sport where the younger generation is going to be the ones that lead us forward. I don't know if I particularly like that, being a gray-haired old dinosaur that played 100 years ago where you hit a lot. Those days seem to be ending, especially with these guys exiting the game.
It's the chaos that's going to fall from the Saban retiring. So Dabo Swinney's.
Speaking of Saban, what about Vrabel? Go back to Vrabel.
I would love the Steelers to
You
find a
think the
spot for him.
Patriots take Vrabel?
That's a good possibility. That could explain why Kraft was made the move that he did. But I don't rule out. I know people think I'm crazy when I say this. I wonder if Tom Brady. He's only a year removed from retirement. I think he still wants to play. I'm sorry.
I disagree with you on that. I think he's comfortable in retirement.
Nah, he's still got it. He can come in and be a top 5 quarterback.
If he doesn't have Gronk, could he get Gronk? If
know.
Gronk would come out of retirement, you got a potential position. Now, is Brady part owner with Oakland or the Raiders right now?
No, that got blocked.
So his own can't go back to Tampa Bay. Baker's playing too well, as it seems. Oh, Tom Brady in Pittsburgh. Wouldn't you guys love that?
That ain't happening. No, but you know what, though? But it's the trickle-down effect of, like, who goes where. So if Dabo Swinney moves to Alabama, then who goes to Clemson? And James Franklin is rumored Alabama, of all people. And for the record, I'm not opposed to that as a season ticket holder. I wish they wouldn't have moved on from Manny yet and could have plugged him in.
I just wish he had talked to Cale Sanderson and learned how to win, because Cale Sanderson, Penn State wrestling, churns out national champions, and somehow Penn State football just can't beat Ohio State.
So
breaks my heart. We are
Penn State.
There it is.
But we are about out of time. So good setup for that.
I really like to thank again you guys for filming this, and we hope that we haven't offended anybody. Sorry, Lamar Woodley one last time.
It's him. You want his address?
And we have had a wonderful time doing this today, and we look forward to seeing you again here on the Stellar Show. You believe I blew that one again?
Leave that.
I'm out.
Leave it.